What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. In today's video, we're going to be going over the most important stocks to watch this week. We have a lot of hype going on in the market right now. We've been seeing a huge divergence between value stocks and hype stocks, or growth stocks, I should say, over the past couple weeks. In today's video, like I said, we're going to go over the most important plays to watch for this week. We saw actually a great rebound on Friday from a lot of these growth stocks. DraftKings, Neo, Palantir, Enphase, even Tesla had a decent day. So overall, make sure to stick around to the end of the video. We have a $4.7 million options trade that expires this week. And if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to cover was the oil news, and really crude oil really started to pick up, and the Colonial Pipeline resumes their normal operations after hack per CNBC, but they did report that many gas stations are actually still facing shortages, and the cyber attack forced the company to shut down approximately 5,500 miles of pipeline and triggered a widespread fuel shortages in the Southeast and also panic buying. But however, there's still fuel shortages in some of those markets, and some of them are Washington, which is the nation's capital. 80% of gas stations are without fuel, which is actually a pretty insane statistic. And according to the latest data from Gas Buddy, North Carolina also has 63% of gas stations short on fuel, and Georgia and South Carolina have more than 40%, while Virginia has 38%. And that's actually pretty crazy to hear out of the oil market. And man, like gas stations running out of fuel, that's just a pretty scary thing to see. And we've been hearing about this over the past week, but I can't believe that what these hacks have really caused. And it's not really the hacks that have caused this shortage per se, but at the same time, it's just one of those situations where we're just looking at stocks like ExxonMobil and some of these oil companies that are starting to go up and they're starting to pose pretty good opportunities. But overall, the oil market is doing great as we see crude oil trying to pop back up to highs. So over the next week, with some of these shortages and stuff, watch out, because fuel prices still might go up as this demand keeps rising.
Alrighty, so very interesting info there. And then Tom, we got to check in on AMC. I know there was a ton of hype with this one on Thursday. On Friday, it finished up overall around 1.6%. It actually broke Friday's high, but it could not hold above those levels. It has an extremely strong resistance level, right around $14.30, you can say. But overall, it still held its support right around $12.50. So this one definitely still has potential to short squeeze. The short float is still relatively high, but it's holding its ground. And even if we look at like the daily chart, it has a very similar setup right now that it had in late January. So overall, just keep an eye on it. There's still definitely potential for a short squeeze, but make sure we break those highs right around like 1430 or so. Tom, what levels are you looking at for this one? I know if it does start to run, it has a ton of potential.
Yeah, 1430 is definitely the biggest level to watch for. If it starts to go down, then just almost discount the play. But if it goes up above 1430, then it's going to be an amazing play, especially over the next week as we are sitting right around that resistance level. I think that as we start to see some hype come into this over the next week, it might start to pop. And also, it looks very good off of technicals, breaking above this upper trend line, which it broke above, and then also bouncing off of the lower one and moving up to that $14 mark. So overall, great technicals on the stock, and hopefully it can break that high, because man, there's been a lot of potential out of AMC, GME, and like I said, some of these growth stocks are really starting to go up this week. And AMC and GME were really the kings of those growth stocks at the beginning, flying from really lows like $20 up to like 483 on GameStop. Just really crazy movement. It looks like AMC is moving better than GameStop is, but man, just insane stuff. And I hope that AMC can really start to break above like 1430, 1435. And I just think if it does, it's going to be an amazing play for Monday and Tuesday, especially with the hype. And like you said, whenever that short squeeze stuff really starts to happen with GameStop and AMC, especially, we start to see really big moves. And if we see those big pops, I mean, especially above 1430, it's going to be an amazing day on Monday or Tuesday whenever this does happen.
Good stuff. So quick reminder, AMC and GameStop, they are extremely risky plays, but they also have a lot of potential to pop as Tom said, if we break above that resistance right around 14.30, the next resistance is right around $15. And then after that, the next major resistance isn't until like $17.50. We are seeing increased volume right now. AMC is definitely on my watch for this week. Like I said, it's very, very risky, but it also has a lot of potential to pop. So just keep it on your radar. And then Tom, what's going on with like Palantir, Zoom, Peloton, and like all these growth stocks that we started to see pop on Friday?
It's actually amazing. We've been talking about this over the past few weeks, saying that so a lot of these stocks were getting close to support or just under them, and saying that it's a great time to start buying up shares. And we're starting to see these stocks move back up. We saw these days, we saw some of these stocks have a huge 10% moves last week. And then on Friday, they just continued moving back up. We saw another big 10% day out of Palantir. DraftKings started popping back up with another 10% move there, bouncing perfectly like off of the $40 support. And overall, just like I said, a lot of these stocks are starting to really move off of these supports. And I think it's an amazing thing to go ahead and see, because lots of people have been buying up these stocks as they've been going down, which is an amazing opportunity. And I think that over the next couple of years, as these stocks start to go back up, it's going to be an amazing thing, especially if you're starting to get shares, or if you were selling puts on the way down. You're really in the money right now. You're doing very well, especially if you sold puts like on Zoom, Palantir, Peloton, some of those, especially Peloton. They've really been popping back up over the past couple of weeks after some of that terrible news that they had. And it's just one of those situations where they're all bouncing off supports at the same time, and the market rallied back up Friday. So overall, it's looking really good for a lot of stocks right now, especially all those stocks that are in like ARKK and the ARK funds.
Sounds great. And I was just going to bring that up. So ARKK and a lot of growth stocks in general have been getting hammered over the past couple months, but it looks like they're at a pretty solid level right now. ARK is bouncing right off that 100 support level. But even if we just look at like back to the individual stocks, I think Zoom has a ton of potential to pop. I think Palantir has a ton of potential. DraftKings, Enphase, I think they all have a lot of potential. So they will all be on my watch this week for maybe even like short-term swing trades or day trades. But I also like them all for long-term plays. But Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow and the member of the day. So today's member of the day, we have Mark GR100. Huge shout out, Mark. Thank you so much for being a great member of the Stocked Up Discord. You've been in the Discord for quite some time, so thank you so much for your continued positivity, and thanks for being a great member overall. But let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Palantir to the upside.
Yep. And with Palantir, go ahead and make it move above $20.25.
All right. And then we have Penn, PENN.
Penn Gaming, go ahead and make them actually move above $82 even.
All right. And then we have Zoom.
ZM, go ahead and make them break above 309.25.
All right. And then we have Enphase.
ENPH. This one's actually my favorite one, I think, given all of them that we're talking about, but make them break above 124.
Yeah, I'm with you. Enphase looks like it has a ton of potential. Etsy looks pretty decent too. But for the four plays we just listed, Zoom, Enphase, Penn, and Palantir, we are eyeing them for potential day trades only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $4.7 million options trade for this week. And we are looking at the 145 strike call options for ABNB. These call options expire this Friday, May 21st. Looking at ABNB's chart, so Airbnb, they're bouncing off a pretty strong support right around $130. They just reported earnings too. I can definitely see them popping back up. These options are only around $3 out of the money. They have increased volume coming in. It looks like growth stocks are about to pop back up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they're actually right around their lows of like whenever they IPO'd earlier, or I should say at the end of last year. And it's just one of those good things. Like it looks like they're bouncing off support around $130, like you said. And I think that it could be a pretty good play over the next couple of years. And I think as the economy starts to open and people start to go on vacation more and stuff like that, Airbnb will do a lot better. But until then, unfortunately, it's not going to do the best. we can see they had a negative 11 EPS back then. Now they have a negative 1.95 EPS. So it is getting a little bit better. So hopefully with this earnings, we can kind of pop back up. But I think that if we see a lot of these growth stocks like Palantir and others start to go up and we see the economy continue to reopen, then I think that Airbnb will be a pretty good trade. And I would have to think that they're longing these calls, but it is a little bit out of the money. But just given how much movement we see out of this stock, plus with it at support, I would just have to think that they're longing it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just given the setup overall, I would definitely think that they are longing these calls, but they'll definitely be on my watch for this week. I think a lot of it also depends how growth stocks move. But let's get right into our questions from the previous episode. And with the first question, we have Ruben asking about Clove, CLOV. So I like this stock. I don't love it. It's definitely one of the riskier plays, you can say. They've had a lot of volatile movement over the past year or so. They started running up right when they were around like $10. They ran all the way up to 17 and then all the way down to $6. And they tried to run up to 11. Now they're back down to like $7.50. I think they're okay. They're not my favorite. They're like, I don't love the setup overall. As long as they hold this $7 support, I think it's a decent trade to like maybe like buy and hold for a couple weeks or a couple months, but it's not my favorite setup. What are your thoughts?
I'm with you, and they have earnings on May 17th, so it's going to be pretty risky, I think. If they can hold that 7 support, I think it would be awesome. Kind of like you said. Overall, it's not my favorite setup. I've seen, this stock has had a lot of momentum. There's been a lot of people talking about it, especially over the past couple months, and I can see why. The stock's been very volatile, moving from 7 all the way up to like 11 or $12, and then all the way back down, like you said. And it's just been a pretty volatile stock. So I get why people are wanting to trade it. And if it holds support, I think it'll be awesome. But just looking at the chart, I think that given what's going on right now, I think that there's a lot of other opportunities with other growth stocks like we've been talking about with DraftKings, Palantir, Penn, Zoom, and others. I think that some of those ones could be better over the next couple of years. And this one might have a lot more growth than some of those stocks, but I think that those other stocks are just more established and have a lot safer charts.
All right. And then we have Max saying, how are Neo and Tesla looking? So I think they both look pretty decent for dip buys. I don't think it's necessarily a bad time to get shares of either of them. Neo's right at that $30 support level. Tesla is right around that like $575 support level. Overall, they look good, not great. I kind of like Neo set up a little bit more. Neo, you can actually get some really great premiums if you sell puts on them. Like they're actually one of the best stocks to sell puts on in terms of like premiums relative to the collateral needed. Overall, with everything, I think they're at a decent spot for dip buys. And I also wouldn't be surprised if we do see a pop back up this week, given the movement from other growth stocks.
Yeah, me too. I mean, some of these stocks like Neo, Tesla, even some of the other ones like BLNK and some of those other charging stocks like CHPT, I think that those could be great plays. A lot of these EV stocks are down quite a bit. And let's go even check out CCIV and see how they're doing. And they're trying to pop back up as well. And I mean, it's just another one of those things, like they're all at support. Tesla is getting really close to this bottom level. It bounced off of around like 550 or 540. So over the next week, if we do see Tesla and Neo keep going down, maybe watch for Tesla to bounce somewhere around 540. If it breaks below that, then I would continue to be bearish on it, but hopefully it can kind of hold these supports. And because for the longer term, I think it's going to be awesome. But in the short term, who knows? There's been a lot of selling pressure and it could continue. But if these growth stocks keep going up, then I think it's gonna drag the rest of the market up with it. And by the rest of the market, I mean more of like the tech stocks like Tesla, Neo, AMD, some of those, some of the other value stocks like McDonald's and some of the banks. Those might actually start coming down as some of these growth stocks start going up, as people start to like transition their money out of those value stocks into the growth stocks.
All right. And then we have N saying, what do you think about AI? So ticker symbol AI. They have quite the volatile chart history. They IPO'd right around $100, ran all the way up to 183, and now they're at 50. So they had quite the movement. I like them. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like Enphase, DraftKings, Neo, Palantir a lot more than AI. I think that they're in an amazing sector for the long term. And at these levels, I don't think it's necessarily a bad time to maybe start to average in Their leaps are a little bit expensive because their IVs right around like 96%. What are your thoughts on this one?
With them making new lows, it kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know where the bottom is with them making new lows. So that's my only worry, but I would think that this would be near the bottom somewhere. So like with shares, averaging into shares or something could be a pretty good thing to do. Definitely go look at the company's fundamentals and look at their sales and stuff like that to make sure, because earnings are coming up over the next month. They are on a 6/2 or June 2nd, I should say, but they are starting to look like they might pop up over the next week. And I think there's a good resistance here at $60. So if they do start to go up, maybe target 60 over the next couple of weeks. But if they can't break that, then obviously then 60 is going to be a pretty good resistance. And if they do break above it, then definitely get calls on it if you go ahead and like the setup. But overall, I think 60 is going to be a pretty good level. Of bounced off of it around 4 times over the past few months.
All right. And then we have Carlos saying, hey guys, asking again about Baba. Reported earnings and got crushed. I have my stop loss at $190 and I'm thinking of getting out now. Thanks again and great video as always. So Baba has been getting crushed over the past couple months. Overall, they're a pretty solid company and they're a pretty good stock for the long term. But for the short term, they're definitely looking pretty scary. They're pulling back quite a bit. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know why they're going down so much. I know that they have a lot of news in China and stuff like that. Obviously, it looks like their earnings weren't as good as a few months ago, and that could definitely play a factor as well. Obviously, he said that they went down on earnings, which has been terrible. They really broke that support around like 210. Now they're heading down around 200. So hopefully they can hold around there. Like you said, it should be good for the longer term. But man, I mean, I can't believe Baba's doing this bad. They were at 320. Now they're like around $200. So it's just one of those plays. You don't really know what's going to happen. And like I said, they're a Chinese stock. So that's always going to have a little bit of an influence in this stock as well. Because everything that happens in China will affect them. So just keep that in mind, because going forward, it's not always just looking like at the US economy with Baba. A lot of it is also the Chinese economy.
Good stuff. So, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at AMD. I think that's going to be an amazing stock. We've really seen it almost triple bottom here around $73. Looks like it's popping up above the SMAs and could have some good growth. And I really like AMD. I talk about it quite a bit. It's riding this support like a lot of the other stocks are. And besides AMD, just all the growth stocks, Zoom, Peloton, BLNK, Palantir. I think that all those stocks are going to be amazing for the next couple of weeks, especially if we keep seeing this type of momentum. And just given the setup we're seeing over, like, especially on Friday with that huge green day we saw, I think that it's going to pose for a lot of buyers to come in at these lower levels. And especially like with inflation and stuff going up, a lot of people keep talking about inflation going up, but keep in mind that inflation going up isn't necessarily a bad thing unless it goes up at a very drastic rate. So, that's another thing to keep in mind, is that it might hurt the market because there might be some negative articles or some negative sentiment over a few days. But unless the inflation gets really bad, it's not going to be the worst thing for the market.
Sounds great. So if you guys are looking to day trade options, we have an options day trading bot. The link is in the description down below. It had an amazing call out with DraftKings on Friday. Call out the 44 strike calls at $122 each. Later in the day, they were going for $250 each. Of course, not every play is like that, but this bot has been extremely hot over the past week. Fastly, DraftKings, Coin was actually its best call out throughout the week. It was like a 200% pop. So if you guys want to learn more about it, daily options trades and access to all our bots, it's the first link in the description down below, and you could save about $40 right now. And also, guys, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day, and Tom and I will be live tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow morning. You guys can subscribe to the new channel, Stocked Up Live. We'll be live at market open. Feel free to come join us live. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.